The purpose of this video tutorial is to highlight the major components of the DL course template so you can get a clearer view of how it works before you contact CERT to acquire it. So what does this DL template look like and how does it work? Well, actually it looks very much like an online course, but without content. Okay, what I would like to do now is to navigate through this template as a student so that you get a good sense of the layout and the navigation. When a student first enters a course, they should be directed to a home page. And this home page contains a banner and a welcome message, course level objectives, syllabus, course schedule, all of that essential information is right up front here. Once the student has read through that, they come to a folder called a Start Here. And this is really important because we want to channel students into this folder to make sure that they're prepared to go out into the rest of the course. And so this is really an opportunity to sort of bottleneck all of your students into one place so that you can present some very important information about the course. Once you've given them a chance to read all of this information, you want to make sure that they understood it. So the Start Here folder contains a lot of basic categories such as course overview, learning modules, assignments, and on and on. These are all categories that you can just edit in this template to meet the requirements of your course. And there's a lot of standard language we think is useful in all online courses, and it's just a matter of you modifying it to fit how you like to instruct. Once they get to the bottom of the Start Here, there's a Let's Get Started item, which basically now is directing them to complete the student orientation quiz. This is a quiz which is based on information you've already presented to them. That's information that would be in the syllabus or information in the course schedule. Once they pass that quiz, once they get 100% on it, the Learning Modules folder will open. And so we're going to go ahead and take a look at that part of the course now. And this is another important part of making sure that the layout is consistent and well formatted, is the chunking of the course content. And if you click one of these modules, Module 1, you can get a general idea of the layout in each module. And this is an area that you can customize as much as you see fit. What we've done is just provided one example of how you could chunk your content in a given module by including some very basic categories that for the most part should probably be in every module and every online course. A banner with some sort of interesting graphic that relates to that module. A purpose statement, the learning outcomes, that is, what are the things that you are going to have students do, and then the overall agenda and list of assignments. Now, as we go down towards the bottom of the module, we can see how the assignments are aligned. And this is another important part of the course design in the template, is keeping the layout consistent. So in every module, students know exactly where to find the assignments, and all of the assignments are presented in the same consistent way. So if we scroll down here, you can see an example of a Rock CD review assignment, and it has some very general categories: purpose, instructions, and as you go towards the bottom, it has the grading criteria. And so that's an important part in trying to maintain that visual aspect of the course, so that it's easy for students to get to the content and be able to use it the way you intend for them to use it. So that really covers the style in the learning modules. Next, I'd like to go in and talk to you a little bit about the accessibility. So for that, I'm going to go back to the home page. Well, let's take a look at the fonts and the coloring. So throughout the course template, we use a Verdana type font, which is a very soft font, and it displays very well on mobile devices. And the size of the font is consistent throughout the entire course as well. And we use bolding only when we need to emphasize certain headers. Also, the other thing to look at is the course link coloring. We use blue, and you can look at, by editing any of these contents here. I'm going to edit this home page. You can go in and modify the content. If I bring this up to full screen here, we can come in and modify any of this content. See, if you highlight it, you can see up here it's Verdana and 14. And all links in the course template open in a separate tab. That's important. And we don't have to apply any colors to the link because the links already have a default a blue color. And so that's important as well. And that's also why you don't want to go in and highlight basic text blue, because then students would get confused between the difference between a link and just regular text. Next, I want to talk a little bit about the help link. The default help link that comes in when you create a Blackboard shell points directly to Blackboard's online website. And for the most part, that may be useful, but it doesn't provide students with enough resources to help them figure out how to deal with issues in a course or just in learning online in general. So what we've done, if you I'm going to click on the help link here, is we've added a bunch of important links. Links that deal with accessibility, some standard language to talk about content support, important links about distance learning support, a statement about mobile users, that is that students that may be trying to access your course using a mobile device, and then a whole bunch of links for technical support. So we've already provided all of that, and so that's another benefit, that even if you decide that maybe you don't want to utilize the entire template, we could at least provide you with the help information because it is useful. So going back to the home page, as I had said before, we have links to the syllabus and the course schedule. And this is really the best place to put these documents, right up front, right below the welcome message, where students can find it and access it as often as they need to. So in the course template, we've also provided a template syllabus and course schedule that you can modify to fit your course. And so let's take a look at the syllabus really quickly. So it's a very generic document, and the original Word file, by the way, is located in the course template, so you can edit it in Word and then convert it to PDF before you re-upload it into the course. And it has some very basic categories that are important. And you may have your own way of presenting that information. So just look at it and see if it's something that you think might be useful to you. Perhaps more useful to you than the syllabus, because you may have your own, is the course schedule. And this is really another key component of the course template, is not only making sure that your overall course layout is consistent and that the navigation is simple, but also making sure that it's easy for students to understand what assignments are due and when. And so we provided a Word document, once again, that you can edit, that really all it does is display the assignments and when they're due. And so this is very easy for students to be able to figure out what assignments they need to turn in each module or each week, depending on how you organize it. Finally, the last thing I want to talk about has to do with a little bit of back-end management of your course. If we go into the control panel and we click on Files and we click on the link, it takes us into the file directory, and this is essentially where all the files that are loaded into the course are deposited. And when you create a content item and you upload a file somewhere in the course, it appears here, but it isn't placed into folders automatically. That's something that you have to do. And this is something that we highly recommend, is that you spend a little bit of time going into the course files and moving files into the appropriate folders. So it's easy for you to go back and overwrite them as you change your course over time. Okay, well, so that's a very brief overview of the course template. And there's lots of additional stuff that we placed in here that I just don't have time to go through and talk about. So if you think this is something that you might want to use, you can follow the instructions in the article to request a copy of the course template from CERT, and then maybe you want to just browse and navigate it on your own. If you have any questions about how to update it or bring in content from another course into the template, you can always contact CERT and talk with one of the DLAs, or you could schedule an appointment to meet with the instructional designer. You figure out how to get your content in so that it maintains the integrity of the template.